Hey everybody, this is GGB coming at you for probably the last week of college basketball. So I know it's very sad. It's coming to an end, but you know what? We get to do the March Madness tournament soon. I get to make my whole bracket. I'm very excited about it. I hope you guys are excited too. I hope you guys noticed the new addition to the family, the Saints ticket. I'm planning on adding a new addition, so
I would just say stay tuned.
So let's get into what happened yesterday in the Big 12, SEC, and Big 10. So there were no upsets in the Big 12 yesterday. A lot of people were hoping for some, especially those West Virginia fans out there. They were crying. They were pretty sad because they really had Baylor on the ropes there. They probably should have won this game not in overtime, in regulation. I'm sorry. So they lost. Luckily for Kansas, you didn't play today, but you moved up a spot, got to second place in the Big 12. Now, Baylor has won the Big 12. As of today, they've officially won the Big 12, and they join Alabama as being the only two power conference teams to have won their conference so far. In the ACC, we still have Florida State up in the air. They could still win it. Virginia could still win it. Virginia Tech could still win it. Michigan still hasn't locked it up in the Big 10. Pac-12 is still not won by UCLA. And in the Big East, Creighton is still within arm's reach of Villanova. So it's going to be interesting coming down the stretch. That's really all that happened. Texas and Texas Tech both won yesterday. Texas stoved off Oklahoma and Texas Tech by beating Iowa State. That's really all that happened yesterday. That's really it. I hope you guys are excited about that. SEC, nothing really happened too much. Alabama and Arkansas both handily handled their opponents in Auburn and South Carolina. That's really all that happened. If you're a Georgia fan, you're a good amount. You're happy, really, because Ole Miss won yesterday, sending Kentucky right ahead of you. So with a win, you can pass Kentucky. With a win and a Kentucky loss, you can pass Kentucky. So good for the Bulldogs. That's really all that happened yesterday. Ole Miss is staying relevant, although probably won't make the tournament unless they win the SEC tournament or put a good showing in the SEC tournament. Like making it to the championship, I would say Ole Miss would get in. Michigan and Illinois played last night. This was the only upset of the day, really, technically speaking. Illinois was able to upset Michigan, beat them pretty handily. So I think Illinois is a very good team. I think they're a 1 seed at the very least. I think I could see a lot of teams in Big Ten 1, 2 seeds. I think Michigan or Illinois are both 1 seeds. Iowa's 2 seed. I think Ohio State's a 2 seed as well. So I think it's going to be very interesting coming down the stretch. That's really all that happened yesterday. So Illinois kept their hopes alive of winning the Big Ten. Remember, if Michigan loses their next 2 games against Michigan State, Illinois can take the conference. Illinois would also have to beat Ohio State for that to happen too, though. So also a very tough team coming up in the Buckeyes. Wisconsin lost last night, which if you're a Maryland fan makes you happy, because if you win tonight against Northwestern, you can pass Wisconsin. It might be temporarily, but it puts you in the driver's seat, to be sure, of getting that 6th seed. And 6th seed is definitely better than a 7th seed. But let's get into the games today. We have 4 ranked teams playing today with 3 games. At 7:30 with number 14 Creighton traveling to number 10 Villanova. Villanova's favored by 5 points in this one on FS1. Now, I've been going over this a good amount of times. I remember saying it. If Creighton wins this game, they take the Big Ten. At least for the little bit. They still have 1 game after this. But this game is for the Big East, really. It really, really matters. Because Creighton plays Creighton plays Butler down the stretch after this game. Villanova has... So they would have to... So if Villanova lost this game, you become a huge Butler fan on Saturday. And then Villanova plays Providence. But really, if Villanova wins this game, they win the Big East. And if Creighton wins this game, they put themselves in a position to win the Big East. Now, again, you can't lose to Butler on Saturday. But other than that, you have a great chance of winning the Big East if you're Creighton. So this game matters a lot to both these teams, if you're a Wildcats fan or if you're a Blue Jays fan. Now, if Creighton loses, they can't fall behind UConn. They have a 13-6 record. UConn has a 9-6 record. It's not going to be enough for UConn to overtake them. But now, if you're a UConn fan, they're hoping they lose this game, and then they lose against Butler, and you can pass them for second place in the conference. That's definitely what your hope is if you're a UConn fan, especially since UConn does have a couple of games coming up that they should win against Seton Hall today and Georgetown on Saturday. So, definitely going to be interesting. Moving on to ACC basketball. This game's also very, very important. Florida State is playing Boston College. Now, just on its face value, it doesn't seem like it's that important because, I mean, it is Boston College. But if Florida State somehow loses this game, Virginia takes the lead in the ACC. And now if you're a Virginia fan, obviously you're a huge Boston College fan today. It's obvious. You need Boston College to win this basketball game because Florida State, they don't have a hard schedule moving forward. They play Boston College and Notre Dame. So if Boston College was able to pull off the huge upset here, Virginia would hold their own fate in their hands when they play Louisville. Now, Virginia Tech, I don't know when they're going to play again. They keep canceling their games. They were scheduled to play today. They are scheduled to play on Saturday again. I think that's their only game left. They could finish with a 10-4 record. So obviously, if you're a Virginia Tech fan, obviously hoping for a loss here today by Florida State, and then a loss the next day, because you can't have them finishing with an 11-4 record. That'd be better than your 10-4 record. So really, Virginia Tech's in a predicament here. I don't think they can win the conference just because of all their games that were canceled, but I do think they can get second place if Florida State loses both their games, but I don't know if that's likely. Moving on to the Mountain West, San Diego State takes on UNLV. Now, UNLV with a win would move to 9-8, and that's not enough to overtake on Nevada, considering they don't play today, but they do play Colorado State. If Nevada does lose to Colorado State on Thursday, I think is when they play. Let me double check that. No, they play on Friday. So when they play on Friday, technically speaking, if Nevada was to lose that game, they'd fall to 9-8. UNLV would be at 9-8. But just Nevada's overall record would be 14-10. They'd be a 12-12. So they could not pass Nevada, even if they tried. I'm sorry, UNLV. This definitely seemed like where you're gonna stay. But you would like the win if you're UNLV, because with a loss and a Fresno State win, they would pass you. But Fresno State does play Utah State coming up. But they did beat Boise State yesterday, so who knows? I think it's definitely going to be interesting down the stretch. I think Fresno State definitely has a shot at passing UNLV. Now, San Diego State for Colorado State, you would love a San Diego State loss here, right? If San Diego State loses to UNLV, you take first place in the Mountain West. Now, again, you don't win the Mountain West just yet, but you would be in position to win an outright Mountain West championship. Now, right now, if they both win out, Colorado State will get a share of the Mountain West championship, but you would be the 2 seed in the conference championship, right? In the conference tournament. I would love to be the 1 seed if I'm a Colorado State fan, which means I'm a huge I'm a huge UNLV supporter tonight. So who does GGB think is going to pull off the upset of the day? Personally, I think I'm going to take the one that has the best chance. I think it's Creighton. I think Creighton has a serious shot at upsetting Villanova tonight. I know a lot of people are going to point out that Creighton lost to Xavier a few days ago. Xavier is not considered the best, or probably 5th best in the Big East. But Villanova lost to Butler. And again, Butler's not a bad basketball team. They've definitely shown that they can be they have flashes of greatness at times, and they definitely have a good young foundation to build on as a program. But still, I'm really gonna be hard pressed to say that losing to Villanova was a good thing for losing to Butler was a good thing for Villanova. I think Creighton is a very good basketball team. It's just sometimes it doesn't show out. And I've said before, Creighton normally plays down to their opponent, which I could see them being upset really early in the March Madness tournament because they don't play well against an inferior opponent, because they do that a lot in the Big East. They've done it against Marquette and Butler and Georgetown, I believe. So in Providence, I'm pretty sure beat them. So they've played down to their opponent a lot. So I could easily see them losing early in the tournament. But again, Creighton plays up to their opponent. Last time they played Villanova, they absolutely spanked them. I could see this same trend happening here. Here it is GGB saying adios amigos and go Blue Jays.